In Phase 6, disbursement of disciplinary or corrective action is the implementation stage of the workplace investigation process, where the organization moves from determining what happened to applying an appropriate response. This phase is governed by a strict segregation of duties between the investigator, who serves as the fact finder, and management, who acts as the decision maker. This separation is essential to preserve impartiality, ensure fairness, and maintain the legal defensibility of the process. In this phase, management holds the ultimate authority over outcomes. Typically represented by a senior executive, HR leader, or designated decision maker, management reviews the investigator's report and determines whether the findings warrant disciplinary or corrective action. Their role includes ensuring that responses are proportionate to the severity of the misconduct and applied consistently across similar cases to avoid perceptions of bias or disparate treatment. Management is also responsible for selecting and implementing both punitive and non-punitive measures, which may range from warnings, suspensions, demotions, and termination to remedial actions such as training, mediation, policy revision, or broader workplace improvements. In addition, management oversees the communication of outcomes, including conducting separate closure meetings with the complainant and respondent and issuing formal written notifications that summarize the result of the investigation. The investigator's role concludes once factual findings are delivered, and they do not participate in disciplinary decision-making. Their primary responsibility is to determine what likely occurred based on the balance of probabilities. However, they may act in a limited consultative capacity when requested, helping management understand the strength of the evidence or providing context such as industry norms or precedents in similar cases. Investigators may also identify relevant mitigating or aggravating factors, such as remorse, intent, prior conduct, or situational pressures, that could assist management in making a fair and proportionate decision. Importantly, investigators should avoid making disciplinary recommendations unless explicitly required, as doing so may compromise perceived neutrality and increase legal risk. In some cases, the investigator may later be called as a witness in a disciplinary hearing to explain the investigative process and findings. The implementation of disciplinary action must follow structured procedural safeguards. In some jurisdictions or organizational policies, respondents may be entitled to a disciplinary hearing before a final decision is made, providing them with an additional opportunity to respond to the evidence. Closure meetings are typically conducted separately for complainants and respondents to ensure confidentiality and clarity of communication. The respondent is informed of the outcome in writing, while the complainant is advised that the matter has been addressed without necessarily receiving detailed findings. In most cases, only the final outcome documentation is retained in the employee's personnel file, consistent with privacy and record-keeping requirements. A final and critical component of Phase 6 is the reinforcement of anti-retaliation obligations. All parties involved in the investigation must be clearly informed that retaliation or reprisal against any participant is strictly prohibited and will result in separate disciplinary consequences. This reinforces workplace safety, protects the integrity of the process, and ensures that individuals can participate in investigations without fear of adverse consequences.